And then, so why do we have this interest in growth and maturation? So I use this video all the time. And it's because whilst this is effective, and my kid has started playing rugby in the last sort of 6 months, and you even see this at under sevens, you know, even at that stage, you'll still see those taller kids who are just plowing through the middle. And everyone loves to win, but it may not necessarily be the right thing. Yeah? One of Toomsy's videos. So, I suppose the best thing as well, if you get the sound to that video and you hear the parents going hell for leather on the sidelines, that's when you know it's real. But enough of beast mode. So, you know, when you see that, I guess, range of, you know, I guess, stage of development, the maturity stages within a given chronological age group, classically, you know, when you look at growth data, and this is why we would encourage practitioners, I know it obviously goes on in football clubs, in terms of trying to track these somatic changes over time, then this would be our growth rate. We have obviously our on time, and typically that might align with peak height velocity. I haven't put a number in here, around about sort of, you know, the age of 14 in boys, maybe about 12 in girls, but I think with football you're probably going to get probably a higher proportion of early maturing kids. That might be occurring at a slightly earlier age, but we have our early maturers, and then we have our late maturers, and those late maturers also have a longer period of time in that developmental process. And what we know from longitudinal tracking in terms of basic fitness qualities is that invariably, even though these guys may be you know, producing greater absolute performances in an earlier stage, by the end of adolescence and as they're approaching adulthood, those numbers have started to come back to being more closely aligned. And that obviously throws out all the difficulties and challenges with our apparent talent ID processes. So how do we know then, in terms of our data, how mature someone is, and, you know, if we can identify where that mark is, might that influence some of our decision making around provision? You know, because ultimately that's an important point for us to consider. This is our a regression model that is commonly used. So the mirror-walled equation, it will give you you take a series of measurements in terms of sort of body mass, standing height, seated height, and it will give you this reference point in terms of how close that athlete is to that point of peak height velocity. Yeah,